Hi, my name's Ken, and today I'm going to try to install a dog door I purchased from Home Depot. And I signed up to their Viddler account to see their explainer video, and guess what? It was open. And so I thought, you know what? I'll just grab this site and I'll put my video up there, and then I'll give a review and see if I like it or not. But here is the door. So it's a medium size through the pet wall pet door. I've already unpacked it. And it does have this note. It says, leave the cardboard box guide in place and not discard. You'll need it for step 5, 6, and 7. So mine's going to be through the wall. And since they don't have the video, they did supply a card. And I'm going to follow step 6 and 7. I'm going to follow this hard card now because this video account, which they gave to us, and this little card is not active, and that's why you see me. So that's why I'm here. I hope you liked the video, and I'm going to upload this, and we'll see what my dog door is going to look like. I'm going to show you where I'm going to put it right here. I'm either going to put it right there, through that wall there, or right over there, through that wall. That wall has an electrical plug in it, and I know I'll have to rewire that. This wall doesn't, except for these two switches, and that might run this way. I might run that way across there. I don't think it runs down. And I'm going to step out here. This wall does have an electrical plug, an outside plug that I'll have to deal with there. This isn't a load supporting wall, so there shouldn't be a lot of 2x4s here. I don't know, it might be better over here, but I'm going to take my stud finder and check it out. Here, I'll give you a larger view of it. There it is. I don't know which wall would you put it in. I tell you what, though, my wife bought these 2 Boston Terriers, and I think I've opened the door like 1 million times. Yeah. So I got a dog house, right? I've never had a dog door in a house, by the way. And I checked for these doors. You can get these 2 doors here. It's not a slider. It's a complete set. And it's built by Kitco in Boise off of Broadway. It's built by Kitco off of Boise. And I think you might be able to get a door replacement put in there, this guide, and get like a half door. But I was at a trade show, put $1,700 for that door to be replaced with a dog door. I don't know, $1,700 is a little spendy for a dog door. And so I'm going to try this. I'll probably fail. I haven't done any construction work in 30 years. But hey, you know, I did get a stud finder, and made all the jokes to my wife about that. And she didn't think it was funny, but I did. So anyway, I'm going to read these instructions. I'm going to clean this area off, and we're going to cut a hole in the wall. If I'm going to use a stud finder, and I'll show you guys me using a stud finder and marking the wall up. I might have a square out in the garage, and we'll go from there. So here I am with the stud finder, and we'll start right here. Well, apparently there's a stud right there. Well, I marked the spots on the wall with a stud finder, and I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it, but I got a spot here, there, and over here, and up here in the middle, which would follow that where that 2x4 here. Same place over here. And I know there's one over here. I was having trouble finding it, but since I know the one on the bottom, you know, is about that far from the wall, and I'll measure it. But so what I have to do is remove this center 2x4. And so my question is, do I have to brace it? Do I have to get a 2x4? Do I have to get a 2x4 and build this area out to slide that in? I don't know. I'm going to have to read the instructions. So if so, now it becomes a framing job instead of cutting a hole in the wall. I don't know. I'll take a look and I'll be right back. Well, I didn't know this was still recording. I'm going to flip this around. That I have to make, if you see on the bottom, if you set the door on the bottom, I'd have to cut the molding. Or take the molding off. Out of the way, dog. Take this molding off and would set this down to the bottom. Or I got to drill up here because you see there's 3 inches from this seal flap to the actual door. From this seal, from the bottom here, which would sit on the molding, up into the inside. Here, let me see if I can show you a little better. You see the depth of this? Whoa. See, when you're on there, from here to here. From here to here. If I set it so it caught the bottom like that. You see the bottom? We're going to be right about here. Is that too high for dogs? I don't know. Is it? I'll probably get some feedback on that. I'll probably need a step on the outside because the outside goes down another 2 inches. I got a square here. It just doesn't want to stand up anywhere. But the outside goes down. So if I was about here where the tunnel's going to be, turned around. That's about 7 inches off the floor where that one mark is, where the tunnel would be. And out here, there's an additional 4, so 7 would be at 11. And there's you can see where 11 would be. Right down there. See, that would be 11. So the decision is, do you pop that molding off and set it down on the bottom, trim it on each side, or do you put it above the molding? Now I'm going to show you something. 2 dogs, their heads would be just about where the opening of that door would be. Come here. Jasper. There we go. That's Penelope, Penny, and that's Jasper. He's a larger one. And I think because when they're standing there, they do have legs, right? It's going to bring it up so their head, and if you look, would just stick in that tunnel. He's got his head down now, but that would stick him in the tunnel. Another thing is, this is for 35-pound dogs, and that dog is at 35 pounds now. Now, I didn't think Boston Terriers could get much more than 35 pounds, but he might get some shoulders on him. So this door might actually be too small. but I know dogs get hungry. Maybe he'll squeeze through. I don't know. So that looks like the spot I'm going to put it. I'm not going to cut the molding on the bottom. I'm not going to cut this molding down here on the bottom. I'm going to drill the pilot holes. I'm going to square it. I'm going to drill the pilot holes and see what I have. I know I have electrical down there, so I'm trying not to have to move electrical. Trying not to cut 2x4s. I think this is the largest size you can use, a medium, without cutting the 2x4s. And I'll show you the price on these two items and then the tags on Home Depot if you want to try this yourself. I am definitely an amateur at this. I do have a assortment of tools. But you remember, the guy my age, we buy stuff, not necessarily use it. Ask your wife, right? It won't look good at the time. Anyway, I will stop this here, and I'm going to drill a couple holes, and I'll show you next step when I'm doing it. Bye. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I just got through scribing it. I do have a rasp. I don't know if you can see that. I'll back up a little bit. Whoa. There we go. To trim the drywall, because the line will be really close, so I'll need to rasp it down a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and well, maybe not. I'm going to go ahead and cut that one more time and then do that. So I have my hole. There's the debris there. That's the hole. This is all going to trim in. And you can see the 2x4 goes right behind there. And there's a 2x4 right here. So I'm right on there, nothing above. It goes way down here to the bottom. I was worried about the floor plate. But my next question is, are there any electrical lines? So I've got an electrical there. I don't want to take the insulation out of the whole wall, so I'm going to cut it across here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it there. Cut that. Move that off. And no, there's nothing there. There's nothing here behind this. I'm going to see if I can cut the installation a little bit. With this one straight edge. There. All right. Stuff that up there. Cut this here. Beautiful, right? I'm going to go ahead and square this out a little bit. Now the next step, the instruction says use that cardboard board, put it in here backwards. It's going to have a center hole. Drill out the center hole, go out the outside, find that center hole, put a nail or something through it to hold the cardboard, then mark around it, and it's going to show you exactly where to cut to put this in. So this says inside frame. And it's going to sit in here like this. And that's the inside frame. It's going to sit in there just like that. I didn't have to worry about too much. Guess I didn't have to mark the wall up that high up there. I did get it pretty square. You can look at the molding. It doesn't square there. I'm up off the floor. I could have cut out the bottom molding there and set this closer to the floor. But again, dogs have legs. They're a little bit high in the air. And I'll make a little brick leveler on the outside they can stand on. So I'm going to go ahead and do the next step with the cardboard. Hang on a second. So you can see I have a pilot hole, which is right here. All right, that's my pilot hole. It squares with this. So let's put that up there. Oh, you see, I marked all 4 sides there. And let's take this holder screw out. And that is where I'm going to cut the hole. Now I rented a Sawzall, but I have a trusty Ryobi skill saw, and since I only need to rip a little ways, I don't even know if I'm going to get the Sawzall out. I'm going to start with this and see what kind of difficulty I have. I'm just going to start with that skill saw and see how close I can get it. And if I have some problems, I'll get out I rented a Sawzall, which I might use on the edge, but I do have a jigsaw, so I probably didn't need to rent the Sawzall, but I didn't want to have to go back and get one if I needed one. So let's give it a shot. And there's what we got. All right. Officially destroyed my house. Well, we got a hole, but it's not gonna seat because of this right here. So should I just notch this out? Probably. How hard is this to get off? Probably. Or I can get some more of this and frame it out and put the outside against that. I don't know. Which way would you do it? So that's the outside frame, and it goes in there like this. And you can see my measurements suck. Somehow we're a quarter off. Wow. I'm a quarter inch. And I used her template too. This is the template they gave me. All right. That's the freaking template. All right. Oh my God. And their box itself is a quarter inch larger. Ah, fuck. All right. All right. There's the inside. Fit it in. I'm gonna see if I got a piece of trim board, because I did some siding. I did some siding repair about 5 years ago. I think I may have saved a little piece. 5 years. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drop the screws in this, because I need to go back to Home Depot and return the Sawzall that I rented to do this with, which did come in handy because the template was a 1/4 inch too small, and so I had to re-rip and cut corners. And I do have a can of foam. I'm going to pull this off and foam it in there for insulation. So it's just not because I live in Idaho and it gets down, 20s in the wintertime sometimes. And yeah, that's my ideal pet door install. Coming up on, an hour and a half.